What's up?
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Shelf Control. I'm Norm.
I'm Lisa.
And we're going to peel back the curtain on YouTube here. We actually yesterday filmed a video comparing the two games, two editions of Great Western Trail. And we did a little bit of a review and whether or not we want to keep one or the other. And as I was uploading the video to the computer, I was like, we really didn't talk about the gameplay itself. We just compared the two and talked about that some. But that's what happens when we're unscripted. So it was like, you know what? How about tonight we actually just talk about Great Western Trail, and we'll put that video up first, and you guys won't even know that they were done out of order. So
except we just told you that they were done out of order.
Well, we'll see if I edit this out.
He's not gonna edit it out.
I'm not gonna edit this out. I don't do much editing at all. So, anyways,
Great Western Trail.
Great Western Trail. This is the first time we're talking about this. So, it's a game by Alexander Pfister, and I picked it up, I don't know, ages ago, because it looked
I'd say 3 to 4 years ago.
Probably.
Yeah.
And we played it a couple times and was like, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. I wasn't overly impressed after the first time we played it. And then it was Thanksgiving. You took it to your parents and you played with David. Mm-hmm. And they were like, it's okay. It's not bad. And then you and I didn't touch it again for a while.
And then one time we were like, let's try Great Western Trail again. And when we played it,
we were like, whoa.
We really liked it. So, Great Western Trail is almost like a hand management game with a rondel. You're playing as cattlemen who are trying to get your herd to Kansas City to sell your cows to the rest of the country, and the unique mechanism for scoring your cows at the end, when you get to the end of the rondel, is any duplicate cows. They're all cows in different colors with different point values. Any duplicates don't count towards your total, and you only have a hand of 5 cards.
Yeah. So
getting duplicates is a real bummer when you get to Kansas City. Even if they're high value, if you have 2 of the 5-point cows,
you're only getting credit for 1.
You're only getting 5 instead of 10 for those cows. But what I think is the most fun about it is that as you're heading to Kansas City, you're stopping at all these different spots, and there are spots where you can discard one of your cows of a certain type to do a particular thing, or 2 cows of the same, or
to get money or do an action of some sort, and then that helps you refresh your hand and get a better.
At the end of your turn, you'll fill your hand back up. You'll draw new cards to your hand, and hopefully they're different ones than ones you had in your hand. And if not, you keep making stops, and you keep getting rid of the ones that you don't want, and hopefully get the best hand you can by Kansas City.
And along the way, you can hire workers, you can hire engineers, which will help you along the railroad track at the top to help get different stations more points, bonuses. And you can hire a builder to help you build buildings, which give you more point values and have potential fees that the opponent will have to pay you if they go through them.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing. Every building that you put out, every piece of cardboard that you put out on the board is another space that someone has to move through, and you're only limited. You start with a movement of 3 spaces, and then there's various things you can do during the game to get more.
So if I'm building buildings and putting them in the path, he's going to have to use his actions to move 3 through it, and if I've got ones that cost a fee, then he is going to have to pay me all of his monies.
Yeah, so it's a rondel, but as you're playing and building these buildings, the number of spots on the rondel increases as the game goes on. At the start of the game, I think there might be 5, 6, 7 maybe stops that are just generic, that are always out there. And then as you build more, then all of a sudden certain routes get filled with buildings, and you might want to take one of the alternate routes to get around, but then those routes could have hazards that you have to pay for to get past. And so,
and then your final person you can hire is a cowboy, and they help you. The more cowboys you have, the more cattle you can buy at a discounted rate. So you want to have as many cowboys in your hand. If your goal is to get more cows, more different varieties with different point values, you can hire as many cowboys as you can, and that will allow you to get discounted cows and more cows. So it depends on if you're wanting to go the building route, you'll hire builders. If you're wanting to go the cow route, you'll hire your cowboys, or if you want to go up the track at the top, you'll want to get engineers. So you've got to find that sweet spot of all 3 of them, and where the best spot is to get the advantage of all of them.
yeah, because if you dabble in all of them, then you're not going to be able to do any of them very good. And as I think we've found this, reading online, people have said that going the cowboy cow route is the easiest and generally what new players will go for, because that's something easy that you can understand. It's like, okay, I want to get these high value cows in my hand when I get to Kansas City, and that'll get me more money.
That's what I focused on. I remember specifically getting as many cowboys as I could the first few times I played it.
And other people have said that going with the builders and putting out the buildings is actually the stronger strategy.
So you cheated.
I have trouble.
You learned all the strategies before we played, because you always went hard on builder. The secret is out.
I've tried to go hard on builder and fail every time. So, and then there'll be times I'll try to go hard on the engineers, because the railroad has so many stops, and when you get to the end, then you can jump back and continue more. And when I go hard on the engineers, I never get close to that end track. So
it's very interesting. How do people get? I mean, there's been competitions with this game that they score such high points, and
tournaments.
We never score that high of points on this game. Now, we enjoy it a lot, but I don't know where they're getting these points, because I don't know. I don't get it.
But there's something about that hand management where it's like, okay, I'm trying to build the best hand I can as I'm moving up to Kansas City. And there might be times where you'll move a little bit slower up the rondel to be like, okay, I need to do something with this hand, because I'm not going to be able to get to go sell them anywhere. And then there's other times where it's like, I've got the perfect hand, I need to get to Kansas City as fast as I can, but every trip to Kansas City progresses the game clock, and so if everyone's going to Kansas City moving their full movement every time, then the game's going to be over faster, where people are taking their time. So then you have to think, okay, if I'm taking my time but she's racing up to Kansas City constantly, she's getting more opportunities up there at Kansas City than I am, because she's just lapped me. So my strategy of hanging back better pay off in the end.
And each time you go to Kansas City, you're going to get, money based on your cow values from your hand, and that'll determine what city you can get to with your delivery, what city Kansas City is going to ship those cows to on the railroad. So you want to try to get as many point values as you can in your cattle so that you can get further along, because there's penalties if you only get to the beginning few cities. If you get the two that are side by side, you could get negative points at the end of the game, or you'll have to take a card, which basically takes a spot in your hand. So the more point values you get in your cows, the further you can go along the track, which will give you more points and then will give you more money to start over again to be able to buy more cattle or hire workers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's an interesting balance that they have because you have all these cities that you can deliver to. And the first half, maybe, of the cities don't really give you a whole lot of points. You're just delivering to those cities to get the money to help fuel your engine as you're coming back through again. And it's not until you get to the later cities that you start getting some good points for that, which is a good balance because the cows that you're buying to go into your hand are also worth points at the end of the game. And so I could see if there were points all the way up, then that would really skew the cattle strategy to be really big, where the buildings, as you're building them, they have points at the end of the game, and with the engineer, as you're going by and you're dropping tokens in at the stations, each of those is worth points at the end of the game. So it's a unique mix that we haven't quite mastered, but really enjoy every time we play it.
So as you're going along the rondel, you have an opportunity to get hazards. You know, if you don't want to go through a taxed building of your opponents, you don't want to pay them, you can go through hazards, which you would pay the bank instead of your opponent. So sometimes it's worth doing that to not give them that extra money. You know, you also go through an area where you are trading with the natives of that area, and you can trade with them, get money, or get TPs, things like that, which you have kind of, what are they? Those cards.
Your goal. You got
your
some
goal cards.
That
so
you can pick up.
You sometimes need different color TPs, or you need hazards and stuff. So as you're going along the rondel, you can pick up some of these, whether it be going through the hazards or trading with the natives to be able to get what you need for those.
And there's spots at the end of those, at the end of the hazards, at the end of the Indians' land, where if you have a building there, you get to do what your building says, but you also get like a little bonus because it's harder to get to those places through the hazards. And so you can try to go to the spots that let you clear off hazards, but every time you go to Kansas City, other people might be putting hazards in your way. And so you got to plan for that. And a neat strategy, if you can get it to work, is if you can ever spend all your money before you're going through a hazard or another player's buildings. Normally you would have to pay them to go through, but if you have no money, you can't pay, so you can just go through for free. So if you can somehow spend all your money buying cows and then just be like,
sucker,
sorry, I can't pay you, I'll have to pay you down the other time around, maybe. So
and it's interesting, like Norm said, the first time we played it, we were like, oh, it's okay. And then we kind of shelved it for a while. And I think we almost both at the same time said we wanted to give it another try. And we pulled it out, got it on the table, and we enjoyed it so much more that time after a few months hiatus. And so from then on, every now and then we'll get the itch and we say, let's bring it out and we'll play it. We'll play it a couple times and then shelve it again for a while, but it seems to be a game we always go back to. And it's not too complicated to introduce new gamers to it. We've introduced a few people to it. They've really enjoyed playing it. It's just I feel it's got a good balance to it.
And so we've picked up the expansion for it, the Rails to the North. It changes things up. It adds another board that lays on top of the board to extend it a little bit. That gives you some those other stops that you can make for as an action. And we tried it when we first got it, but we really haven't felt the need to go away from this once we started playing this and enjoying this. So it's one that we might need to try, but we really can't speak as to what we think of.
I think
the
we've done it.
expansion yet.
We've played it once, and I don't think we were overly impressed with it, but we didn't give it a fair shot. So we will give it another go. It's just we're enjoying the base game of Great Western Trail.
All right.
If
Well,
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
most of the stuff that we'll be talking about will be in the video that's going to follow this, where we're talking about both together. So maybe we just go into our ratings.
Well, we rated it on the other video that we haven't done yet.
Well, we'll have to see if the numbers are different.
Oh, all right.
So
yeah, I don't remember what I rated it. All right, mechanisms.
Going from 0 to 7.
I gave it a 6, I think.
You gave it a 7 for
Did
the
I?
mechanisms.
I don't remember.
She said
Okay,
that it
I'm
was
biased now because now I remember things that you said. So I can't in good faith score it again because I know things that you had made points to that I was like, okay, yep, that makes sense. Yep, I gave it a 7. I said that I thought that everything played well together. The game was well designed, in my opinion. I liked the flow of the game, the mechanisms, everything worked well. With my inexperience to board games. So I'll stick to it. I'll stick by my 7.
Absolutely.
It's a 7.
And then you're 0 to 3 for wanting to play it some more.
That's right. So it wasn't a 3. It was not, why aren't we playing this right now? It was a 2. If someone suggests it, I will play it. I'm usually the one to suggest it. I'm not going to drop everything and play that. There's other games. We've got Everdell. So, I mean, that's on the table all the time now.
We haven't talked about it, so they don't know.
Well, why aren't we talking about it?
So then maybe that video will be coming up.
That's going to be a long video. So anyway, so I give it a 2 because I will always play it. I will suggest playing it, but it's not the only game that I'm like, okay, this is what we have to play right now. So 9.
So yep, total of a 9. Mine is also a total of a 9. But I do give it a 6 for the gameplay because I think there's a couple things that just kind of seem like they could have been done better. Like those bonus cards on the side. Whenever you are stuck having to get these two towns delivered to these 2 towns that are side by side, and it gives you the opportunity to draw one of these bonus cards. It feels like a punishment because when you get that bonus card, it goes into your deck, and so when you draw a hand of 5 cows, one of those cows is a bonus card that doesn't help you at all when you get to Kansas City. Now you can play that bonus card out at any time for a small action, but then you better get what that bonus card says you need to get for those points, or you're going to lose points. Where if it's in your deck at the end of the game and you don't meet the requirements, you won't lose the points, but it's taking up spot in your deck.
But if you fulfill it, you will still get those points. So that's a plus there. So even if you get the card and you do fulfill it, but it's in your deck,
yes,
you will get those bonus points.
And so I like the idea of those bonus cards and playing them for those bonus actions, but they're not easy to. It's not easy to get multiples of those. If it says that you need a blue, a yellow, and a red cow, you get another bonus card that says that you need a blue and a brown cow. You can't use the blue cow that you used to get that bonus card for this one. So you have to have 2 blue cows and then the brown cow to do that. And
some cards require you to have hazards, and hazards are actually expensive to get if you go through the buildings. I think you have a building that allows you to get it for a cheaper price, or if you have so many, I think, engineers or cowboys, I think, you can get a free hazard. So there's ways to get it, but for the most part, they're expensive. So if you've got a bonus card that requires multiple hazards, that's going to be a challenge to get, or you're going to be spending all your money on those opposed to hiring workers and getting bonuses other places.
So I think it would be fun if you could do a strategy where it's like, I'm going to get these bonus cards, I'm going to use these bonus actions and work on getting all of these, but most of the time there's a building where you can either do something or get a bonus card, and everybody does the something. I can't remember what it is, but they don't take the bonus card. I think it's just moving the ribbon down one to make your cows worth a little bit more at the end. And so the bonus cards seem like they'd be such a neat idea, but they feel like a punishment, and I don't like that. I want to use those bonus cards. And so there's certain things like this. I'm sure there's more that I discussed in the video from the other day that
we haven't done yet.
That'll come out another day. So so I made it a 6 out of 7 for the gameplay, but it's a 9 because it is one of those, why aren't we playing this game? Where if I'm playing some other game, it's kind of got to earn its spot over this for playing. This one kind of just sits out for a little while because we might play it so much that it's got to rest a little bit. But yeah, so it's a 9 for me.
And a 9 for me.
So I guess it wouldn't be a spoiler for the next video that's coming out to say that we want to keep this in our collection.
It'd be sad to rate it a 9 and then say it's gone. So that would
would
set a standard.
When we got shelves full of 10s, the 9s have got to go, right? So.
And I don't think we have shelves full of 10s.
We don't have shelves full of 10s.
We have some 10s.
So, but we'll see how many we end up with as we go through this. So, anyways, please check out that next video that's going to be coming out in a couple days, where we compare this to the second edition that came out. And join us as we continue our journey through our board game collection and deciding what to keep and what to get away. And
like, subscribe, follow, bell.
YouTube stuff. We're not very good at the self-promotion, getting our names out there. So anything that you can do to help the algorithm to push it out to people would be great.
We're just having fun.
So the more people who will join us in our little journey, the better. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts on Great Western Trail.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Okay, have a good one.
Bye.